Star Wars The Clone Wars is my favorite Star Wars show and perhaps the greatest one in existence, and the Bad Batch series did not include as much action, other clones, or even the Clone Rebellion as much as I think that it should have. Now there are many different Star Wars stories, movies, and Disney Plus series that are being told right now. In my opinion, some of these stories are starting to lack creativity and originality, as well as that special Star Wars feel that makes Star Wars so fantastic. Therefore, I created some of my own original ideas, and here is one of my original shows that I made when I was in college, which occasionally was inspired by the expanded universe, but for the most part is all original ideas. So in this video, there are 19 episodes of the first season of a Star Wars show that I call Star Wars Holdouts. Some stories here connect to other pieces of Star Wars media that I have also written, and comment if either you want to see more of this or if you have any questions. The first episode is titled Secret War, and in 35 BBY, Jedi Master Sifo Dyas commissions the Clone Army after seeing the potential of Kaminoan cloners after the Republic-Leto War. In 42 BBY, on the planet Bora Vio in the Leto system, hence the name Republic-Leto War, rogue Kaminoan cloners created an army of all clones of several different human genetic templates. The rogue Kaminoans tried to launch an all-out invasion and attack on the Republic from the Outer Rim, but a small band of Republic and Jedi task forces intercept them. Sifo Dyas, Dooku, Qui-Gon Jinn, Captain Pellaeon, Lieutenant Gideon, Jango Fett, and Republic security forces, as well as Mandalorian and other mercenaries, fight against the rogue clone army in the Leto system. After the devastation of the war, it remains mostly classified and is officially stated by Senator Palpatine to have been a large-scale anti-smuggler rebellion against the Republic. The second episode is titled Sieged, and during the start of the Republic-Leto War in 42 BBY, a Republic Marine task force, including Lieutenant Joseph Grunger, is besieged on a moon orbiting Bora Vio by rogue Kaminoan clone military forces. Ram Koda develops a dislike for clones during this siege as they orbitally bombard the moon to end the Republic's stubborn defense. The siege is finally lifted when a Mandalorian attack force arrives and drives the Kaminoans away. A young Fallon Gray is then injured in the fighting, and Koda takes him to Kamino for medical attention. Episode 3, titled The Guardian, takes place in 41 BBY after the Republic's victory in the Republic-Leto War, where a dark Jedi in a stasis chamber has been cloned by the rogue Kaminoans and is then captured by Palpatine. Impressed by the Kaminoan cloning technique for cloning a Force-sensitive, Palpatine plans to do the same with Sparti cloning cylinders later on. The Dark Jedi is awakened, and Palpatine puts him on Wayland to guard Mount Tantiss and his storehouse as the Guardian. Episode 4 is titled Madness, and in 20 BBY on the Separatist-controlled planet of Wayland during the Clone Wars, Palpatine successfully creates Joruus C'baoth with a Sparti cloning cylinder. This method of cloning ages C'baoth faster, and because he was Force-sensitive, gave him some levels of clone madness. The Republic is preparing an invasion of the planet, and Palpatine has C'baoth hidden deep within Mount Tantiss with all of the Sparti cloning cylinders during the invasion. Palpatine's Republic scientists take control of Tantiss to resume his plans, keeping C'baoth inside of the mountain, and further going insane. Episode 5 is titled The Fortress, and in 19 BBY, Commander Appo and the 501st Legion are sent to the planet Vijun to take out reactivated battle droids controlled by one of Dooku's secret Force-sensitive assassins that had replaced Savage Opress. The campaign attacks Dooku's old castle and decimates all of the Separatist forces. After the battle, Darth Vader slays the assassin and then claims the castle as his own as he begins to like it. Episode 6 is titled Strike, and in 19 BBY on the planet Bandumir, Commander Vil and Darth Vader lead an Imperial assault and offensive against Einite miners for refusing to honor their former Republic contracts once the new order is proclaimed. The Empire quickly overwhelmed the miners and other local resistance groups within the campaign. After the battle ends, Vader asks Commander Vil if Palpatine had contingency orders against him as they had against the Jedi during Order 66. Vil vaguely confirms Vader's suspicion, and Vader uses the Force to throw the commander off of a cliff. In Episode 7, titled Separatists, the 187th Legion is sent by the Empire to the corporate sector of the Tingle Arm, where the Corporate Alliance Separatist militia has acquired many Separatist tanks and droids. The militia has been committing genocide against several planets within the sector's population for the loss of their war. The 187th loses many troopers as the Empire did not replace lost equipment from the Clone Wars, but the 187th ends up victorious against the Separatists. Episode 8, titled Reactivated, sees Imperial Aquatic Assault troopers land in the water on Scarif to build the Imperial Station when a battalion of underwater drive battle droids are suddenly reactivated from a garrison that was underwater. The Imperial Aquatic Assault Troopers and Imperial Shore Troopers would defeat the Separatist forces with aid from the 458th Clone Battalion garrisoned on Scarif. Construction of the Imperial facility continues under Colonel Gideon's supervision. Episode 9, titled Deadlocked, has Commander Cody lead an Imperial force to the planet Ringo Vinda, where one of Admiral Trench's former subordinates reactivated the Separatist fleet. The control switch to deactivate the droids is linked to a central computer on the planet's ring where the strike force lands. Clone troopers Boyle and Kryze are part of the 212th Imperial Strike Team and successfully infiltrate the planet's heavily defended outer rings in an old Separatist shuttle. Once inside, they destroy many droids and kill the Separatist commander before deactivating the fleet. Episode 10, titled The Clone Who Would Be King, has ARC Trooper Alpha 17 land in an escape pod on the planet Mandalore. He has no idea of what has transpired with Order 66 and the rise of the new Empire. The 332nd Company on Mandalore is ordered to establish an Imperial loyal government on the planet. Gar Saxon and his clan collaborated with the TK troopers occupying the planet, while the rest of the Mandalorians tried to convince the 332nd to let Mandalore remain independent, threatening war. After learning of how the Clone Wars ended, Alpha 17 starts a Mandalorian rebellion against the Empire. The 332nd Company then defects from the Empire with the Clone Rebellion, and the Empire then slaughters all of the rebel Mandalorians when they do a charge. Alpha 17 and the 332nd then join Captain Rex's rebel network. In Episode 11, titled The Edges, the remnants of the 41st Elite Corps and 442nd Siege Battalion go on a mission by Palpatine into a Separatist holdout on the edge of the galaxy bordering the unknown regions. During the fight, a Yuzeng Vong scout party attacks the planet, and the clones join forces with the droids to drive them back. After the battle, Palpatine and a detachment of his royal guards land on the planet and abduct all of the clones while destroying all of the droids to avoid any word of the Vong getting out. The Empire then sets up an observatory on the planet. Episode 12 is titled Shelled, and on the planet Hypori, the 4th Artillery and 103rd Loader Companies are tasked with shelling a Separatist and insurgent fortress for a new Imperial science research facility to be built. The Separatists are bombarded, but not assaulted, giving them time to rebuild. The Empire repeatedly denies the clones reinforcements and orders the clones to assault the holdout, despite the fact that they are artillery troopers and loader troopers. After the artillery lays down a massive barrage, the loaders arm themselves and assault the holdout in a somewhat disorganized way due to their different MOS. However, the clones are victorious and Krennic arrives to build his base. Episode 13, titled The Crystal, sees the 87th Sentinel Corps sent by the Empire to the planet Ozekria in the Tingle Arm sector of the Outer Rim, where a Separatist holdout has acquired a Kyber crystal from a destroyed weapon from the Old Republic era. The Separatists are led by Worm Losum and a garrison of reactivated battle droids with commando droids. The 87th are able to defeat the droids and recover the Kyber crystal, but they then learn that they are being replaced by TK troopers and decide to keep the crystal for themselves after a skirmish with the TK troopers. Episode 14, titled War Profiteers, takes place on the planet Scipio after the Empire sends a force of shock troopers under the command of Commander Stone to the Banking Clan. After the end of the Clone Wars, the Banking Clan refused to give the banks over to the Galactic Empire, and Palpatine wanted to send the banks a message. Stone and his troopers get through a light bombardment and seize the banks from the Munes while destroying any remaining insurgents. In Episode 15, titled Fissure, Commander Blitz and the Rancor Battalion are sent by the Empire to the planet Pilio after a research vessel mysteriously disappeared. There they find and destroy a small smuggler fleet. The Venator, however, gets drawn into a fissure in time, and the cruiser pops out during the Great Galactic War. The battalion lands on Pilio and is in a battle between the Republic and the Sith Empire. After debating which side to join, the battalion decides to fight for the Republic and stops the Imperial advance on Pilio with aid from the 181st Squad that had been lost in the World Between Worlds. In the present, Palpatine has an observatory built on Pilio to observe for another fissure in time after knowing what had happened. Episode 16, titled Strength Prevails, witnesses the Shrouded Offensive continue as Commander Bly accompanies Darth Vader and the 501st Legion on a mission to defeat a Separatist holdout that is led by a former Jedi Knight and Jedi Padawan. The Empire is initially bogged down when the Separatists use guided missiles against Imperial armored units, but once the Empire uses orbital bombardment, their advance continues. Darth Vader kills the Padawan in a duel, and Commander Bly then shoots the Jedi Knight after a failed Jedi mind trick. In Episode 17, titled Game of Shadows, on Navarro, an Imperial garrison is established to maintain control of the Outer Rim. Dr. Pershing establishes his lab in a base. The clones of the 235th Battalion are rotated off of Navarro and are replaced by TK troopers as part of Operation War Mantle. While en route through wild space to put down a routine worker strike, the fleet is pulled out of hyperspace with an experimental superweapon by the Empire. The break disables control of their ships, and the Imperial scientists pilot them into a celestial anomaly to both keep the secret of their experiments and to see what happens when they go through. The fleet is lost in time and arrives in 41 ABY during a battle in the Second Galactic Civil War. In Episode 18, titled Decommissioned, in 19 BBY, in the industrial sector of Coruscant, a group of clone troopers from the 129th Corps are sent to destroy Palpatine's old hideout with his plans for the war and all of his evidence. After destroying the building, the 129th found an insurgent group in the district which engages the Corps in combat. After defeating the insurgents, the Corps finds evidence that Palpatine orchestrated the war, and then they decide that now is the time to join Captain Rex's rebel clone network. In Episode 19, titled Conclave on Kessel, being the season finale, in 19 BBY on the planet Kessel, 8 Jedi survivors meet in an abandoned mine and are expecting Anakin Skywalker to arrive and meet them when Darth Vader comes out and fights them. However, the 8 Jedi prove to be too much for Vader, and he kills 5 of them, but the other 3 are starting to defeat him. But Vader is rescued by Commander Bo and the 501st Legion, who kill the last 3 Jedi in order to save Vader. What do you think of my first season of Star Wars Holdouts? I have 3 more already written, so stay tuned for them. Did you like these original stories, or can you see why I was rejected from being an entertainment and media studies major in college? Write in the comments if you have any questions or want to see more of my original Star Wars stories, and thank you for watching.